Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Saint Artist, and I'm going to do my favorite application, shall we? I'm going to start with my old favorites. These are my old favorites that have always been my favorites. They're not even old. I still use these brushes more than any other brush. This is the blush and bronzer brush. This is the detail brush. These are the brushes I started with, and these are the brushes that I still love and use most frequently today. And it's been over 2 years. I love these brushes. These brushes are also 2 years old. That's how long our brushes last. You just clean them. Well, I haven't done that, but they still last. I mean, they're $36 a brush. Each brush of these is $36, or you can get this brush for $40 and get your bronzer for just an additional $4. But I've had these brushes for over 2 years and they're not going anywhere. So they're a good quality brush that have longevity. All right, let's get started with my favorite application. So I'm gonna go into my main highlight. Now lately, I'm too light for Candlelit, I'm too dark for June, so I've been mixing them together. And so I just take my brush and I tap in between them. And the only place I put it is down here. This is it, in just this side part of the face. I just bring it up a little bit because I have discoloration, but I just bring this on my lower part of my face here. And that's the only place I need my foundation. I don't wipe into it. I just tap into it, and then I get started on the lower part of my face. I don't bring it all the way up. I don't even put it on my forehead. And that's why I like this makeup, because it has longevity. This makeup will last just as long, if not longer, than the traditional makeup that's out there. And it's just good quality. And I was the girl who every time I walked into a beauty store, I tried something new. I'm just building this to where I want it here. And then I'm going to take it to the fluffy end, flip it, and I'm just going to spance over this and pick up any excess that I have. And that's it. That's all of my foundational coverage. That's it. That's all you need. So I'm going to go into my brightening highlight. This shade is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. It's a lot lighter, you can tell. But this is what's going to reflect the light, and it's going to be good. I use my finger to apply this, and I'm just going to make kind of like a little heart right there. And then I'm going to bring it down my nose. Now this will look like I'm putting on way too much, and that's because it's lighter than my actual skin tone. So it should look bad, because I haven't blended it. And I'm going to take that big end and I'm just going to stipple this over my brows here and up onto my forehead. So what's going to happen is it's going to look like reflected light. I'm just going to bounce down my nose, and I'm going to make that part over my Cupid's bow and on my chin. I'm going to meld that into my main highlight. This is going to even out my skin tone, but still give me brightness and dimension by using that lighter shade. So this is why I don't need to take my main highlight on my forehead. Once I take that brightness and I blend it up, I'm going to be contouring up here, which is also foundational coverage. I'll be bronzing, also foundational coverage. And once these all get blended together, I don't need that main highlight because it all evens out, because I want a dimensional full coverage look. We're going to go to the detail brush, and I'm going to go into Indigo, my contour, and I'm going to put some on. And then I'm going to go right here on either side of my forehead. Now, because it's winter and this is such a dark shade, I'm not putting a lot on. So I'm just stippling a little bit on, and then I'm using very light, I'm not squishing my brush down. I'm using the tips of the bristles to just blend this out, blend this down, gives me my foundational coverage. It's giving me my dimension of the shadowing, and then it's blending in to that brightening highlight that I had put on, which now gives me a beautiful even skin tone that has the full coverage that I like, but I'm not putting more product on than is necessary. And that's one thing that's hard to get away from, is you're so used to putting on so much makeup that when you put this on, you tend to over apply and overdo it. So I put some of the indigo on the edge here, and I am just going to stamp this on the top side, and I like to bring this down the side, just like that. I'm going to use this corner here to just pull it up into my brow so it follows my natural shadow, and then I'm going to come down to the tip. Now I add as I go, and you can always blend this away. If you feel like you've put too much on, that's okay, because it can be blended down to where you want it to be. You don't have to wipe it off and start all over. There were days where I would put even just foundation on and I was like, yikes! And I'd have to start all over. Not with Seint. You can blend this down to where you want it. You can blend it till it's completely gone if you wanted to. You can blend it completely away. I'm going to take the tip of my finger and I'm going to tap up and down the bridge. And this just kind of gives it a more natural blending from brightening to contour. There we go. That's it. This will all come together in the end. So I'm going to go in on the edge again, and I'm going to go, you can see the natural shadowing right here. I'm going to go just a skosh above it, but I'm not on top of my cheekbone here. So we're going to hold the brush at an angle. I hold it mid-brush, and I'm just going to hit that cheekbone on the bottom with an angle, pushing up. I'm not blending this down past the outer corner of my eye, just like that. And that's it. That's the difference. Look how it just lifted my cheek. That's the difference. Same thing over here, holding that angle mid-brush, and I'm just pushing underneath that cheekbone and blending it. And by pushing up, it's blending it up. We don't want a harsh line. We want this to look natural. Natural. All right, I'm going to just tap a little on. I'm going to get that jawline right here, jawline right here. And this is just going to structure everything out. Hide my chin right there. And there we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm going to switch it back to the blush and bronzer, and I'm going to go into the color Icon. This is actually a highlight color, but it's a really pretty bronzer. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to go here, here, and I'm going to make it beautiful. Trust me. I'm going to go, there's that contour here. I'm going to go above that contour, just like that. Let's show you just how easy this is. So I'm just going to drape this around. I'm just barely stippling this and blending it, bringing it down the cheek, smiling. I want to keep this on my cheeks, not going anywhere it doesn't need to be. Same right here. We're just going to blend this around. This is adding warmth. So that's the difference between my contour and my bronzer. My bronzer, this highlight color Icon that I'm using as a bronzer, is really, really warm. And so contour is cool, and this will give me more dimension. It's going to warm up my face. I'm going to go to the fluffy end. I'm going to pull from the brightness out. Just like that. Easy. This is easy. And you know what else it is? It's fun. Remember when makeup was fun? I remember when makeup was fun. It was fun right now. It was fun yesterday. But for such a long time as an adult with the makeup and my skin maturing, because again, I'm 41, so I really like to reiterate that. I'm 41 and I'm still having fun with makeup. I liked trying new foundations, but at the end of the day, I hated the way my skin looked. I hated the way my makeup looked. Not so much my skin, but the way my makeup sat on my face and then clumped, and it just didn't look good. And then I tried Seint, and I started loving my makeup again, and I started having fun with my makeup. And when you start loving a product, you want to see what else there is. So I'm going to show you what else there is. All right. Blush. I never could do this with powders. And that's finding a blush you love and then adding to it without it looking almost like a bruise once you've contoured and bronzed, and then you put a cheek on and then you realize you want a little something else, so you add. I'm able to mix colors and customize my cheek to exactly what I'm looking for. And lately I've been loving Plum. It's this really pretty mauve color, and I just pop that right up here. Okay, we're gonna pop that right up there. Same over here, but I always like a touch of pink with my blush. So I'm gonna go in, and I'm gonna go in with Dahlia. I stinking love Dahlia. I love it. It's my favorite summer shade, but right now we're still not quite into summer, but I love mixing it with Plum. So I'm gonna put it right there, Plum, okay? We're gonna go in with the blush and bronzer, and I'm gonna start on Plum, and then I'm gonna move to the pink, and it just creates this really, really, well, I got a black dot, this really pretty pinky color, but it also, I mean, it's more natural, but it's fun to play with makeup. But Seint is different, and I don't want you to think bad, because it's not. I've been using it for over 2 years, so it can't be bad. But what I can say is this makes it fun again. This brings the fun back in makeup, and if it doesn't work out because this is different, wash it off. try it again. You have a 30-day return policy. So if you don't like it the first time, try it again. If you don't like it after that, message me and try it again. I don't think it's that hard to figure out. You message me and then I tell you what to try. It happens all the time. I'm not going to lie because this is different. I'm just going to clean things up right here. And I'm going to add some under eye. Watch how this changes with under eye brightening. It's different. There's no makeup like this, okay? Makeup is new. There's always new things coming with makeup, and stick cream foundations are coming out. Stick cream foundations are still half the pigmentation of Seint. Traditional makeup, we're gonna stop for a minute. I'm gonna educate for a second. Traditional foundations are 18% pigmentation. Then you get into the stick foundations because you wanna try something like this, and you wanna go get it and grab it and get right home. Stick foundations are 40% pigmentation. Seint is 80% pigmentation. So you still need less product to get the same result. You can use our contours and our bronzers with your traditional foundations, because I know a lot of people go and get their liquid foundations, then they go get their stick creams. You can still do that with this. Ask me. I got a tutorial for it. All right, that's all I wanted to say about that. We're gonna get back into the brightening now. I'm gonna use the small end of my detail brush. I'm gonna tap in, pick some up, see that? I have a trough and I'm gonna go right there and I'm just gonna tap this up, and then I'm gonna come right out here and I'm gonna tap this up. So I've done two things. I'm brightening my inner eye, I'm lifting my outer eye, and I'm not applying too much product. So I'm gonna take what's left and I'm just tapping this on my orbital bone because I don't want a lot of product on my soft tissue above this trough. Everyone has this trough. Everyone has texture under their eyes. I can't get rid of that, but I can keep from accentuating it by not having too much product on. So I'm just gonna brighten and I'm just tapping this around. I'm not using too much pressure because I don't wanna move this part of my skin too much because it will mature it. I'm gonna take what's left on the brush and I'm just gonna go right here on my eyelid because this also makes a really great eyeshadow primer. I'm not doing my eyeshadow in this tutorial, but I can pop some of it up there to use as my primer. But look at how just adding a little bit of brightening makes such a beautiful difference. I'm just gonna take this brush that still has a little bit of pink on it, and I'm just gonna meld together my cheek and my brightening. There we go. That's the difference. That's it. That's the difference that brightening can do. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna add brightening onto here. Under that trough, bringing it up. Understand one thing here. One thing. Everyone has soft tissue under their eye. Everyone has texture under their eye. It doesn't matter how old you are because you have a bone here and nothing here and then an eyeball. So everything right here is unsupported. And so we don't want to add too much product to it. So I'm just tapping this up. I'm gonna add a little more here. I'm giving my eye some lift, and then I'm going to tap this onto the orbital bone and then bring it up. Again, putting a little on my lid for a base for when I do my eyes. And that's it. Look at how nice just adding brightening can be to your face. It's those little differences that make a difference. I'm just using the fluffy end of my blush and bronzer brush to pick up any excess. I have very oily skin, so I have vanilla dust. It lasts a long time, but I use the doggone out of it. Sometimes I use it to set my lids and I can keep it from creasing, and I use it as part of my eyeshadow base, or I just use Cupcake. This is gonna be a tutorial. Okay, we're coming right over here and I'm just tapping this on the upper parts of my cheek and over. I'm gonna add some to my forehead. This is where I just get really shiny. You should have a natural dewiness to your skin. You don't need to look like you're wearing a big powdery mask. This is translucent. This is very fine. It's not going to accentuate fine lines. It's not going to accentuate pores. Everyone's got pores. If you get zits, you got pores. So by adding this powder, it's not accentuating my pores. I'm going to grab my setting spray. I use the Flawless Finish by Charlotte Tilbury because, again, I'm very oily, and our setting spray is great from combination to dry skin or normal to dry skin because it's very hydrating. So I don't use it because I feel like it makes me look very, very shiny. Not this stuff. I like that a lot. While this is still pretty wet, I'm going to add my fluffy in, and I'm just going to stipple all over. This is going to pick up excess. This is going to push that setting spray in. And that's how I set my face. So we're going to go into my contour with the small end, and I'm going to tap into the contour, and I'm just going to get right down here. And I'm going to pull it out just a little. And so what I've done is I've added contour down there, and it's going to give me that fullness without having to get an injection, because I heard it hurts. I heard it hurts. I don't want to hurt. I got a tattoo once. I was young. It shouldn't have taken 6 hours. It took 6 hours. Anyways, all right, let's get started. I wanted to do a really pretty lip color. Now I'm going to use, what's this? Oh yes, this has been my favorite lip liner so far. It's by MAC, and it's called Strip Down. And it's just a pretty brown. I like a good neutral brown. I've got a lot of neutral browns. And so far, this one's been my favorite. All the other ones pull very peach on me. This one doesn't. So I like it. So I'm going to just line my lips, hug the edge. And I'm going to line. And then I'm going to take a lip and cheek that is so good for lips. I don't recommend it for cheeks because it's very sheer and light. So I don't really recommend it. It's really good for lips, though. And if you can understand what I'm saying, I'm so proud of you. If you've stuck around this long, I'm so proud of you. Okay, coming up, I do pop off just a skosh on my Cupid's bow. Skosh. It's not even really on my skin. Okay. Boardwalk. It's really pretty. It has little flecks of gold in it, and it's so pretty. It is a gloss, but it's just good. That's all. It's very sheer, but it's good. So I'm just running my finger on it. See how it's so sheer? And I'm just gonna put this. It's so good. One of the things you can do if you like lipstick and you don't want to carry around a big old palette is you can keep the lids. You don't have to toss the lids. I keep all my lids. They're in that jar right there because they're pretty. You feel bad getting rid of them. So this is Boardwalk. I just like a good neutral lip. I'm a sucker for it. But you can keep the lids. I do that with my lip conditioners is I just keep these in, and then I can grab and go and throw them in my purse. You can do this with Boardwalk too, but you can use it like a lipstick. You just pop it open, and then you just rub it on your lips. Like that. So you can use this kind of as, I mean, looks like I do. But you can keep the lids and just use it as a lipstick. All right, that's it. That's my face. That's been my go-to application for the last, I don't know, month. And I really like it. You don't need more product than necessary. It's a good finish. This is a natural, look at that dewy glow. Everybody thinks dewy means greasy. There's a fine line between dewy and greasy. Greasy is really shiny and greasy. This is not greasy. This is a dewy finish. This is what people go and get illuminators to do. You want that J-Lo glow? Use a cream foundation like Seint. Seint gives you that dewy glow that J-Lo applies on top of all of her makeup. That's all I'm going to say. Have a great day.